we try not to be rigid, but sometimes it's hard. And sometimes when that happens, we just need more support when times get hard like that.
Welcome to the Smart Talk series, the show for professionals who want strategies, tips, and real talk about all things PR, marketing, and social media. Your host is Melissa Williamson, an award-winning, accredited, and nationally recognized PR pro and communication thought leader. And now your host, Melissa Williamson.
Hello and welcome to the Smart Talk series. I'm Melissa Williamson. This season, our focus is on milestone moments. Today, I'm joined by Emilia Williamson. Emilia is a rising junior in high school who has interned in public relations and communication since she was a toddler. She is an honor roll student, award-winning theater performer and cosplayer, aerial dance artist, and tenured junior intern at MVW Communications. Emilia aspires to be an American Sign Language interpreter, actor, and aerial performer who may advance the PR profession in surprising ways. Welcome, Emilia.
Hi, it's so great to be here.
Tell us more about yourself and what you'd like to do for a career in the future.
Well, potentially as a career, I'm thinking about having my main job as being a American Sign Language interpreter, maybe at shows or concerts, or maybe even in some cases at a school with kids. But mostly I would want to be an actor or an aerial performer or like whatever little jobs I can, maybe voice acting and things like that.
I can totally see you doing that, Emilia, and I'm so here for it. I make a joke for everyone that I think my main goal now in life is just to make sure I'm an adequate PR momager. So let's do this, Emilia. Well, this season is our 10th anniversary of MVW Communications. And just to pull the curtain back a little bit for our listeners, one of my main inspirations for starting my own boutique firm was my children. I wanted to be a very involved professional as well as a very involved mother. So I'm super excited to have one of my inspirations here with us on the podcast today and introduce you all to her, because life is full of milestone moments. And you know that for sure if you're a working parent and you're a parent or a caregiver. So Emilia, tell us about a milestone moment that you experienced, or maybe something you made happen that was impactful in your life.
So something that I guess I would call a milestone moment is the first time that I won first place at a cosplay contest. It was about a year ago at Pop Madness 2024, and I won first place for the first time in a cosplay contest against other competitors, and that really made me want to continue cosplaying and see what else I can do and how far I could get with this, because it was a lot of fun and it made me just want to keep trying to build cosplays.
And so for some of our listeners who may be professional communicators but not really deep in the world of performance and theater and creative arts, what is cosplaying? What is cosplay?
Yeah, so cosplay is basically dress up, but for everyone of all ages. And the two words, it's costume play, is basically the whole word. So it's like you dress up as your favorite character, and then you can go and enter contests, or you can just meet other people who maybe dressed up as different characters from the series that your character was from. And it's a really good way to meet new people who like the same things as you, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I would say as a marketer, PR professional, communicator, it's a really interesting culture to kind of immerse yourself in. The first con, or I guess it's short for convention, maybe conference.
Convention, conference, either one.
Yeah, the first con we ever went to was a few years back, and I was really proud of Emilia because she dressed up for it, and I think you were like Poison Ivy.
I was Poison Ivy.
And that was super simple. She put on a green dress. She had an orange wig, because, we just do that around here. She loves to perform, so she's always thinking of creative skits she can do here, even in the neighborhood as she was little. But anyway, she put together the outfit, and I was really blown away by how positive the vibe was. Like, everyone's super encouraging. It's kind of like, be the weird you want to be. it's a mix of, yeah, like you said, like feels like Halloween costuming, but also theater. There's an element of acting for those who are brave enough to do skits. And you have a skit coming up soon, Emilia. Tell us about that.
I do actually. So this month I got accepted into the San Japan cosplay contest. And in a couple weeks, I think about 3 or 4, I will be doing that contest. I will be doing a skit to a song as Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony. And I am in the novice division, which is like for beginners because I've never really been in a contest that big before. I've actually never done a skit before. It's always just been walk-ons, which a walk-on is just for you basically just walk on stage, hit 3 poses, and then leave. But there's a lot of different awards that I could win potentially if I do a good job. So yeah, we're excited for that.
Yeah, I'm super excited, super proud of you because you're not even 16 years old yet, and that's super brave. And that's something we're trying to be here, definitely in my house is, not wait until we feel confident, just being brave and, you know what, give it a try. Why not, right? And just to be clear for my friends and my listeners here on the pod is I was not a theater kid myself, although I could totally see that now. If I could go back, I probably would be. I was a band kid, so supporting your children and those around you with whatever they're interested in is really a new adventure. And I really encourage all of us to be more open. And, there's a lot of professional skills we can lend to our kids, even when they're doing their hobbies and activities. And so I think I've always been kind of on the side going, okay, well, I'm not sure how that works, but let's figure it out. And those PR skills are super helpful in parenting for sure. So, Emilia, you are starting your junior year in high school. Is that a milestone for you? What do you think about that?
I feel old. Well, because it's weird, because it's just like, 3 years ago, I was in middle school with my friends, and I was like, whoa, you're a junior? Like, you're almost about to be done with high school? Like, wow, you're so old. I feel quite old, but I also feel like this year will be a lot of fun for a lot of different things, especially theater, now that I'm a junior, because my theater teachers do love the juniors, so hopefully, some roles will come my way, hopefully.
Yes, you have a few years of experience now in high school productions, but they do put a lot of emphasis, I would say, and pressure on juniors about college and grades and whatnot. So are you thinking about some of that yet?
They do. Well, from everyone that I've heard, junior year is the worst because it's like the year that you have to do all the work and stuff. And even from like juniors in my theater class last year, they were like, yeah, this is the worst year of like high school. And I was like, oh no. So I've been kind of worried about this year, like since freshman year, because of all the work that's gonna come. So I don't know.
I don't think it's not anything we haven't tackled before, right? One small bite, one small step at a time every day is the way. So we'll get there for sure together. And you're becoming quite the creative performer in some ways that I wasn't even expecting, especially if we've explored aerials at your circus school, Cirque Aria, and cosplaying. So what led you to try aerial arts and cosplaying in the first place?
So cosplaying, I think, came from that weird era in 6th grade where quarantine hit, and I was kind of, that phase like when you're in your awkward teens and you maybe get a little emo. I kind of hit that phase, and then I heard of conventions like an online convention. I was like, oh, I would like to try cosplaying as this character. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep cosplaying. And after going to my first con as Poison Ivy, and I remember we were in the car going there, and you were asking me, actually, are you sure there's going to be other people cosplaying? Because I don't want to walk in and you're the only one wearing an outfit. And I was like, no, there's definitely going to be other people. And there was tons and tons of people, and the community was really, really nice. So I was like, oh, I definitely want to do this more. As far as aerials go, it was because for a lot of years I saw Cirque du Soleil perform. I saw The Greatest Showman, and I was like, you know what? I really want to give this a try. So 2 years ago in January, I just hopped in and I was like, all right, this is fun.
Yeah, it's flown by. Like literally, she flies up on the fabrics, very much like the circus. And my jaw drops and my heart leaps, and I'm just, making sure she's okay. And she's done fantastic, and it's amazing to see, and I can't imagine where that takes you, like literally in different places and spaces around the country, hopefully. So that'll be awesome. And I love that you're being smart and you're thinking about ASL and having some type of sustainable, career lifeline through that journey. I think it's going to be super helpful because I think we can all see you at a Taylor Swift or Jonas Brother concert doing ASL and then maybe getting up on the Lyra hoop and, swinging around. Pink would love you, I think, at her concerts for sure. She loves that stuff. Awesome. Well, you've been so helpful to me, Emilia, in a million different ways, growing me as a person as I grew as a mother, but also as a professional. I think some of our discussions around students and young adults and what do they mean by student voice and how do you really promote that in a way that's productive for young people and not polarizing or destructive for some of their future opportunities. And I just want to share a little bit with everyone about that. Because students and young adults, they experience a lot of change. I mean, that's typical, right? You're growing up, you're changing all the time. But then you add, like you said, the quarantine, a pandemic, AI, and other expected changes we've had, even in 2025, on top of all of that growth as just a little human. So how do you suggest adults help young people navigate change in a smart way?
So that's kind of a hard question because every person who is young is different. But in general, I would say if you're trying to help motivate someone, just be like really encouraging, provide a lot of support. If like, for example, they have like a big deadline coming up, encourage them in a good way, but not to make sure that they don't get too stressed out and it's not too stressful in the environment and stuff.
Yeah, and we kind of talk about a lot as a family not being too rigid and I think being able to adapt. What are your thoughts on that for young people?
It's hard. Well, it is hard for young people sometimes not to be rigid because we do have a lot going on, maybe jobs or like trying to make sure we still have time for our hobbies and trying to hang out with our friends while we still have all of this work going on and things like that. Like, for example, last year at my school, I got very, very stressed when we had UIL because I had all this work that I had to get done. And because of our in-school rehearsals, I was skipping a lot of school time and class time. So I was very stressed about getting all that work done. And I became very rigid around that time. And we try not to be rigid, but sometimes it's hard. And sometimes when that happens, we just need more support when times get hard like that.
Yeah. And what we mean about rigid around here is that we don't want to be closed-minded on how something is possible or can happen. So, for example, like even just thinking of the traditional work days, like 9 to 5. Well, if you own your own business, you don't necessarily have to have a 9 to 5 schedule. Maybe it's better for your life that you start a little bit earlier and end a little bit earlier. Maybe it's better that you break up the day a little bit, right? So just having that growth mindset or just a little more growth minded where you're just like, well, what is possible? I'm still learning from different experiences. I need to adapt to the reality of I'm practicing and that's not the right theater word. I'm rehearsing. There we go. Every word matters. We know that in PR for sure. I'm rehearsing for theater, and that's really important. And this award opportunity is really important for my production and my team here, but also my grades matter. And I used to do my homework during class time on this period. Well, now I need to figure out how to fit it in another way. Maybe that is on the bus. Maybe that's at home, and doing something new and different to adapt to the situation, I think is something that we can encourage really everyone to embrace, because sometimes we all get a little stuck in our ways or rigid and we need to think of a new way forward. And for me, the pandemic really showed me a lot of flexibility, a lot of different ways to make things happen. So that was a silver lining for sure. And so, Emilia, I want to talk to you a little bit about trust, because trust is obviously really big in a family. It's important. It's very important, in my opinion, in public relations and the work that we do with our stakeholders and communities. And you and I together have presented on how to gain trust and encourage student voice with teens. So what should our professional communicators know about student voice and how to build trust with students?
I think trust would definitely take a bit of time. It's not going to come right away. The student would definitely have to get used to you first and see what you're like and all of the things. But it's always helpful to just have be really nice towards the students and just be very welcoming. But don't be too welcoming or too enthusiastic or too loud, because that can frankly scare people away. So just like be nice, be calm, and kind of let them trust you on their own time.
And what is this concept of student voice about? Like, how do we get youth to kind of share their thoughts on different aspects of education or policies or life in a way that isn't fake, or where you feel like you are not sure if they're going to do something good with that information or if you're going to get in trouble?
Well, it's always helpful to have some kind of survey or something where students can put their opinion down. Like my school, when we went on a field trip to UTSA, they had little surveys that you could fill out about the experience, but you had to put your name down and they saved your email, so they were able to see exactly who was putting what. So I didn't really feel like I could put or say exactly what I wanted to say, because it's like, oh, if I say something negative, then they're going to associate me as being just a negative person with all the things. But I'm not. It's just I wanted to voice that I didn't like something that they did, but I didn't feel like I was able to. So it's better to have like anonymous surveys where people can just put how they really feel without having the stress of like, oh, they're going to think that I'm a bad kid, or they're just going to think that I'm mean.
Yeah, anonymity. That's a hard word, right?
What does that mean?
Anonymous. Being anonymous. I'm thinking of Finding Nemo. What is that? Anonymity. Okay. Anonymity. But yeah, making sure that if you take a survey, for example, and try to get opinions and voice from people, especially young people, making sure that that truly is anonymous is important so that they can kind of share different aspects with you. Students don't want to get in trouble, right, Emilia?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're really concerned about that. I know you and I have talked about that. We will link in the show notes the column that was inspired by our presentation on student voice together. And hopefully that'll give you some good tips on how to move forward in gaining student voice. But like Emilia said, it's going to be over time. You can't force trust. And especially with young people, they're going to want to see consistency and just finding more natural ways to invite them into conversations, not only sometimes or some aspects, but just more organically asking them their opinions and thoughts and having them be on the committees that put together the experiences, right? That's going to circumvent any missteps that you might do as an adult who isn't exactly thinking in the same kind of point of view anymore. Well, Emilia, this has been a super fun and sweet conversation, and I love chatting with you as we always do. But I want to hear your take on this phrase that I've been trying to, make a thing for a couple of years now. What does smart talk mean to you? I told you that was the question.
I forgot what it means.
I told you that was the question you need to practice on. People usually get stumped there.
Isn't that like being confident or whatever with the...
Well, there's dumb conversations and then there's smart ones, right? So what would smart talk mean to you?
Oh, okay. So, so smart talk to me would mean having like a meaningful, like a deep conversation with someone that you trust. And it's something that usually you goof around with people a lot, but when it comes down to it, you can have a serious, meaningful conversation with them and share experience and things like that. So, yeah.
We're teaching her. So if you all hear an audio difference, we're doing this on my mic that's now two-sided in one room, and she's learning audio tips like don't move around too much, stay close to the microphone.
Spice.
Don't rub your pant leg so it'll make a sound. So those are some tips for you listeners. No, that was a very honest take on Smart Talk. And I think that's really good. I mean, a communication tip for parents that I will share that I read and researched long ago and I practice today is you want to have meaningful conversations with your children. You want to have meaningful and smart conversations that make people think with young people. They can have those conversations, set information, in their lap metaphorically and let them kind of think over it. Don't always expect their feedback right away. But the best place is when you trap them in a car and you're driving and they can look away and you're just like, oh, this is what this means and this is what that means. So,
Oh, no. No.
so try some smart talk in your car, parents, for sure. Well, May, this has been great. And I know you're going to be a total success in life and we're super excited to see where that leads you. Where can our listeners connect with you? What's the best way?
I have I was gonna say I have an email, but okay. My mom, you could just contact my mom if you have any like questions or potential like job opportunities. If you wanted to reach out, yeah.
Yeah, she'll be 16 soon, folks, and she's been interning with me since she was a little bitty.
Yeah, in about 15 days, I'll be 16.
And we're definitely going to pursue some of that entrepreneurial life I'm sure freelancing comes with a lot of the arts type work, and she's just chomping at the bit to try out for different acting roles here in our community once she's of age. So come on, 18. But 16's on its way, so it should be a lot of fun. But yes, I'm the mom. Contact me through MVW Communications. Happy to connect you. And we come together as a team and we can present and we can do webinars and super fun. But I think it's really important, particularly in today's America, that we do involve young people. We show them constructive ways to share their opinions and to make change. And so I'm here for it and I'm excited. And I just want to thank you, Emilia, for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to our listeners for joining me for today's episode. We love covering communication topics that elevate our industry practice. If you'd like to go deeper, you can work with me as a coach, trainer, consultant, or hire my firm, MVW Communications, for strategic communication and public relations services. My industry books, Smart Talk, Public Relations Essentials All Pros Should Know, and Latinas in Public Relations, Shaping Communications, Communities, and Culture, are also available for purchase on Amazon. Grab your copy there, and please leave us a supportive review. Book reviews and podcast reviews help more aspiring or hardworking pros find our resources. As always, think smart and communicate smart. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Smart Talk series. If you learned something or enjoyed our conversation, share it on social media or send to a friend. To learn more about this and other communication topics, visit MVW360.com. That's MVW360.com.